Hello, I'm Otto and welcome to episode 60 of my Factorio Space Age Guide. So in the last episode, we created some lithium plate and we created some solid fuel from ammonia. In this episode, we're going to start out by fixing our calcite ship. So we have it set up and we don't have any spaceship fuel coming in, but everything is being crafted. And I did notice, I kind of need to fix this in the blueprint. So if you have this blueprint and this is not the calcite, I apologize. That is kind of rough to start on novice without having this first one at least. This one here, that's fine. So thankfully we already have a kind of like a reference ship. So we can just shift right click and shift left click into this, and everything is now set up the way that we had it on the other ship. We can adjust the numbers as we need. We definitely want to activate this spaceship fuel though. That is going to be quite important before we take off because the lack of calcite is going to hurt. I also kind of noticed that on Vulcanus, we only have one single regular green inserter bringing in some calcite. So every time the ship comes here, it's expecting to collect 10,000, and this is only storing 2,400. So we are gonna help Buddy out a little bit. And we are just gonna increase this by quite a bit. So now that we have that, this stacked belt is moving quite a bit faster, so that should help us. That is not. That'll cover everything. We can get rid of this one. Perfect. Okay. So I believe those were the only issues, and I don't think that I'm going to quite set this up to collect calcite from space. We probably will eventually. Oh, and we have quite a shortage of both the blue, or the rank 3 speed modules and the rank 3 productivity modules, and that's largely because we have upcyclers. And we've got an upcycler up here, making the blue ones, which I still don't have actually upgraded for the quality modules. Easy fix. We do have some here, thankfully. And we haven't unlocked legendary yet, so this one being the rank 2 is not a big deal. And then on novice, I haven't actually looked at this one in a while, so let's take a look at this guy. We have 50 of the rank 3, or the blue quality, almost 50 of the epic quality. Okay, that's not too bad. So we might have to get some of that into the calcite ship, or maybe tell this guy to stop pitching stuff for a bit so that we can get the quality modules in there, or the productivity modules in there. Anyways, let's get into this episode. So we are going to be making hot fluoroketone and cold fluoroketone. It's quite a pain to make this build, but you know what? We're going to get through it. I want to be careful. I want to actually have the city block down. Okay, so when this happens, that means I am out of pipes. I could get the bots to bring them in for me. I don't know why I don't, but you know what? It is what it is. We're just going to bring in a little bit extra. Get some ice platforms. And that's 90% of what we need anyways. I need a couple of extra these. Oh, nice. Yeah, I did set this up to have the bots grab some of this. Yeah, we are making we're using we're using the ice platform faster, or not using it as fast as these guys can make it. So this is definitely probably overkill. And on top of that, we also have a little bit of storage over here for these. So yeah, that could actually just come down and we would still have way too many. Okay, so oh, it's like the novice days. Let me set my parameters. All right, we need a cryo lab. And we're going to need quite a bit of space. This is a not an easy task. So we are going to set this up in a way that we've been setting it up for the other ones. I think this is going to be right. Yes. So we can get heat pipes down the middle. And we are going to be making hot fluoroketones. So for hot fluoroketone, we need, wow, solid fuel, we need lithium, we need fluorine, which we don't have yet. Well, kind of don't have yet. And we have ammonia, and ammonia, which we do have, but, you know, we're limited by the amount that our poor little recyclers over here can get rid of. All right, that'll help a little bit, maybe. Unfortunately, I can't get... Yeah, I can't get another inserter in here because it would be frozen, so, you know, it is what it is. Okay, back to the build. So, we are going to have to rotate some of these. I'm going to have the ammonia on the inside, and in the case, or the two in the middle, and ammonia on the outside for these two. When you're dealing with, in this case, 3 fluids and 2 solids, we have two fluids coming in, 2 solids coming in, 1 liquid going out, or fluid going out. It can be a real pain, so we are going to try to do our best. We are going to have 2 solids, and they are going to be connected together. Let me move this up. So our solids will be coming down the middle. Something like that. And then this will be allowed to continue through. We want to bring in... we can connect this part later. We are also going to be bringing in fluorine. So we have fluorine kind of set up over here. And we're going to have 8 of these. So if we look, we need 10 per second per machine. So we need 80 per second total. This guy is going to be struggling. He's making 15, almost 16 per second. That'll get better as we have better mining productivity, but that's going to be, you know, quite the time-consuming process. Oh, where did that go? Can I just... Yeah, like I said before, I turn that camera on and all of a sudden the blinders are on. I don't see half the stuff on the... No, I'm just kidding. Anyways, let's get some power out here. And for that, we're going to need a little bit of heat. Well, we don't need heat for the power, but, you know, having the robo network out here would be beneficial. Actually, you know what? I'm just going to set one of these right here. That'll cover a lot of the area that we need. Okay, so if we give this guy some speed modules, this increases him to 31.9. So let's drop some beacons and see what we can get this guy up to. Now we are up to 80. But the thing is this is going to kind of slow down over time. So let's get a little bit more. Maybe 2. $90. 100. Okay. I'm probably fine with that. And we're going to set this up in a way that we can get the fluoroketone from the front. And the main reason why is because we will eventually be training some of this in. However, even though I'm setting this up to bring it in from the front, which will come down, I believe, this line here. Yep. Let's see if we can line this up with this. Oh, perfect. It lined up with our little kind of grid that we've been working with. Okay, so even though I'm setting this up to come off the bus, we are actually just going to allow this one to... I mean, it's so close. We'll allow this one to come through the back. And then we can just bank on having some train shipments bring some of this in later. And that will be, like I said, over here. Okay, so that's one fluid in. And let's assume that this is now 2 solids. So we still have 2 liquids to deal with. We have an input and we have an output. So the input is going to be the ammonia. I might have to move this down a little bit. Yeah, I'm going to have to push this back probably 1 space. So I'm going to cut this and move it back. That should be good. And then that'll let us put a power pole right here. So I'm gonna be kind of alternating. Like some of the builds will have the power pole on the outside of this kind of like grid that we're using. Some will have it on the inside, and that's perfectly fine. That's kind of why I generally have a space like this. This just gives us the freedom to make any kind of connections that we need. I don't really use it most of the time, but whatever. It is what it is. Okay, so this is now... We need to get some heat into these guys. I'll tell you what, let's... Yeah, that matches this side over here. Okay. Actually, we don't even need that one. And this one we can deal with after. Yeah, we can deal with it now. Okay, so everything on this side is heated. And we still need... We have the 2 solids, we have the fluorine, we still need the ammonia. So because we're dealing with 2 liquids over here, this is going to be kind of awkward. So we're just going to bring it in like this. Yep. And over here, this liquid and the solid, these are going to have to like leapfrog over each other. That's fine. It is what it is. So this will end up being something like that and continue on later. So we still need to get some heat in the middle. We need to get some ammonia in here. Ammonia, I think we had on the... Oh, close to the bottom. Okay, so that's ammonia in. We need to get the fluorine in. You know what? We should set the rest of this up first before we bring the fluorine in. So I'm going to copy all of this and flip it. We're going to have to connect the back at some point, which would be right here. Okay, so that's going to bring in heat to everything except for what's in the middle. So as far as what's in the middle, that ought to do it. And what about you? Sure. Okay, so now everything is heated up. We still need to get some hot fluoroketone out. So we are just going to aim for the middle on all of these. And we will collect it over here. Okay, so that is the hot fluoroketone out. We can, again, deal with that later, and this will need to cross over. So let's do something like this. There we go. Okay, so does that make everyone happy? Let's see. Everyone is connected here. Everyone is connected there. Yep, everyone's connected there, and the solids, we're pretty sure. Okay, so now we can connect back here. Oop, too far. And these guys just need some heat, so we will just drag heat and connect all of this together. My poor bots. Okay, so now we just need to get the solids in. So for solids, we need lithium, which is this one here. And we need solid fuel, which we have next door, but we're going to stay organized and keep that over here. So let's go in reverse. So we know that we need to end up somewhere. Let's force this in somewhere in here. And we're reversing these back to the upward direction. So this will need to, I mean, we don't need to split this off. This is the last thing that needs lithium. We need it for, yep, fluoroketone and lithium plate, which are all modular and expandable. So we can just say, you know what, this is the end of the line for this guy. The solid fuel we can at least use for other purposes. So we'll just continue this one on. Man, all of this like force stamping this stuff in is the biggest downside of Aquilo, in my opinion. Holding shift and holding control to force things in. Okay, so now these are all good to go, and yay, we are making hot fluoroketone. So there are two ways of gaining hot fluoroketone. There's this way by crafting it from scratch, and there is also we get fluoroketone as a byproduct. Not from everything. It's mostly just I think it's science and the circuits. Where are we? Okay, so we get it from crafting it, and we get it from quantum processors and science. It's not much, but it's still a byproduct, so it's something that we still have to deal with. And we are going to have a solution for that, but first we are going to make some cold fluoroketone. And we are going to do that here. Thankfully, this is a much easier build. I need more heat pipes. I mean, really, one of these days I'm going to get these bots set up. I could literally just add, you know what, I'm just going to add it. We're going to do it. Give me 250. Thank you. Okay, so kind of setting our parameters again. And do I have enough of these? I do. Awesome. So this one is much easier. This one was a huge pain to set up. It is what it is. This one, on the other hand, all we have is two ingredients. We have, or two things. We have one coming in, one coming out. That makes things way easier. So all we need to do is bring in some hot fluoroketone. Easy enough. Give these some heat. Give these some power. And for the cold fluoroketone, let's take all of this and vertically flip it. So we're going to leave 3 spaces in the middle. Make sure these can get connected and heated. And thankfully we have these going right through the middle because that makes this very simple. Okay, and then we just need to get it out. We can figure out where this goes later. And heat, might as well make it somewhat symmetrical on both sides. And there we go. That is our cold fluoroketone build. Cooling, yes. Oh, it's just fluoroketone, fluoroketone cold versus fluoroketone hot. I don't know. I'm just going to keep calling them hot and cold. Fluoroketone. Okay, we have not made a cross section in a while. I don't know if I want to do it with every single RoboPort because we will have, you know, stuff. But we can at least do it every now and then. Maybe I should have done it every one. Whatever. It is what it is. Okay, so now getting in hot, we need to make sure that whoever, like the science and the quantum processors, we need to make sure that they can allow their byproduct of hot fluoroketone to come back and get cooled off. So that is something that I absolutely struggled with whenever I first started playing. I was a lot, you know, tighter in making my designs and my builds. So thankfully that is really not that difficult. We didn't need to go that far. We need... So this is our crafted fluoroketone, hot fluoroketone, and this is our return line. So the way that we're going to set this up is our hot fluoroketone coming in here. Is going to come out like this. This is our fluoroketone here. And the incoming is going to come in, I don't know, let's say, where's our line at? I've done a terrible job of extending this. Okay, that should be fine, so we can line it up with this. We're going to end up backing it up, so I'm just going to let that continue on there. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a storage tank and we're going to flip it so that the top is, well, it's going to look like this. I need an incoming section here, and these are going to have to, okay, that's fine. They can go like that. And then we are going to use pumps. And obviously we're going to need some power. I can just use a small power pole for it. Really? Okay, but I don't want this one to just go wide open because that might end up blocking the return line. So I'm going to connect this to a wire and we're just going to tell this one, hey, if hot fluoroketone is less than 10K, then enable if this is less than 10K. And that'll leave plenty of room for return line. And honestly, the return line will, there's no way that it could possibly fill this up before, you know, whatever. It's going to work like that. We could set up a latch if we would. You know what? I'm going to set up a latch. I haven't set up a latch in a while. So we're going to get a decider combinator. I'm going to unplug these. And I'm going to connect the red wire from the storage tank to the back of the decider combinator. And there's going to be a lot of crossing here. That's fine. I'm going to take a green wire and connect it to the back of the decider. And the first thing, we're going to need 3 lines. The first one is going to be by itself. So this is going to be when we want it to activate. And let's, you know what, let's say 5,000. So we want you to activate if the fluid is less than 5,000. And you're going to send out the check signal of 1. So if the fluid is less than 5,000, send out the check. And if the fluid is less than, so this is the amount that we're going to end up going to, if the hot fluoroketone, whoops, if the hot fluoroketone is less than, let's say 15,000. If it is less than 15,000, then send the check mark out. But also, if the check mark is greater than 0. Greater than 0? Yes. So that means that this, when it is below, what is this? Oh, okay. So when this is below 5,000, it's going to send the check mark out, which is going to activate this section because now this is sending out a positive. So this is going to be enabled and it's going to run until this goes over 15,000 because the condition of activate if less than 15,000 will no longer be complete, which will break the chain and not allow the check mark to be sent to the pump or to itself. And then we can tell the pump enable if check is greater than 0. There we go. So now it will activate at 5,000 and continue to pump until this reaches 15,000, and then it will deactivate the pump. That way the pump is not constantly turning back and turning on and off, on and off, on and off once it's hovering around whatever we had it set at, 10,000. Okay, so I think that covers everything. I kind of want to get this set up a little bit. Yeah, let's do this real quick. So this was oil, water. Oh, this is actually going to be good because we need the water to go. We need the water to start going. So that's water. Nope, that was not water. That is water. Okay, water's good. And last, the ammonia. Oh. Alright, this is going to have to be funky too. Okay, that works for me. So now we will have a little bit of extra power. I would like to swap these over, but it is what it is. Okay, so that is going to be it for me for this episode. I think in the next episode, we have all the components. Yeah, we have all the components we need now for science, so we need to get some science going. These things craft very slow, and they don't put out a lot of science, so we're going to need a decent amount of them. We'll probably start off setting up as much lithium plate as we can craft, so we'll just go through, probably figure that out off camera. I'll just go, okay, how much lithium brine am I bringing in? How much of this per second am I actually able to create? How much does that reflect onto the plates, and how much can we, oh, all the way back here. That's going to be fun because we have, if we set it up back here, we're going to have bots bringing in all of the rocket parts. You know what? It's fine. We can just add more bots or, you know, increase the buffer. Okay, so that is going to be it for me for this episode. I will see you in the next one, and thanks for watching.